Alright, what's good, YouTube? I wanted to bring you a very exciting deck, Virtual World from Phantom Rage. I actually think it's probably one of the best decks from the set. I mean, it's basically full power Sirloin Mangrate, um, except you set up better boards. It's so strong, you end with so many cards, you have so much recurability, and honestly, you set yourself up for following turns over and over again. So we're gonna just hop into the first replay right here, um, and I'm gonna do it where I'm talking. I might, just cut this out and put some music over this. But anyways, we opened really good, uh, and so we're just starting our basic plays. For those of you who don't know what's going on, I led off with a GG normal summon, and then GG into Lulu. Lulu dumped the trap because I targeted a monster, and then because I dumped a trap, I add the spell to my hand. And then I use the spell, set up Chuchi, um, and then I had Lao Lao. And so then I Lao Lao, dumping the spell. And then rezzing the Lulu. And then, of course, I Synchro Sixed into Stardust Charge Warrior, just get a draw. And actually, it's really important to get non-tuners on the board because you just have so many tuners. Like, this is a tuner, this is a tuner. GG is not another, neither is Lily, but Nyan Nyan, which you dump off of a lot of your plays, is also a tuner when it gets revived from the graveyard. So it's really important to have your non-tuner synchro monsters. And then also, it's just really good to have that draw because you're really just synchro climbing or like level climbing so that you can make your True King of all calamities play. So let's just continue. Don't forget, something that I often forget is that off of Quinlong, you have to dump after you add. So it's not a +1, but it's still really powerful. So, yeah, and then we just go ahead, we synchro into a 9, and we just go in for the Croc, which gets us another draw. We're just kind of trying to load up our hand with hand traps because, most decks are main decking Nibiru right now. It's a combo format, and you just want to draw your cards. And then we bumped Lao Lao's level up with Chuchi. You banish it from the graveyard, and you can increase or decrease something by 3. And actually, what's really cool is you can use Chuchi with Gaia. I guess we can't look at our extra deck. But yeah. I searched the Lily and I ended up summoning it. I should have just held it. But but also it's kind of good because I dumped a bunch of things. That way that my Pot of Desires isn't going to hurt me too much. And that's something that's really cool about playing Pot of Desires in this deck. Just like Salamangreat, you get to dump all of your cards and then you're just set up to Pot of Desires and not feel bad about what you're banishing. And just dig through for hand traps. And this deck is even better because it dumps like, look how many cards I went through. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, I dumped like 12 cards. I dumped 7 cards in my graveyard and banished 2, not even including the ones on my board. And so now, like, when I Pot of Desires, I'm not even hurting myself. And I have the Chuchi loop so that I can just keep looping my spells and traps and my monsters that I banish. Alright, so we're just going to keep playing. We're just going to Pot of Desires. Obviously, we're just looking for hand traps. We set an impermanence. Ash that. He's done for. Obviously, he bricked. We don't know what we're playing against. And I should have asked the researcher. I didn't. I find out I'm playing against Rock. And, man, I just auto-lose this game. I have a pretty good hand, though. It is missing. And I'll talk about this in the deck profile. It is missing a extender. All of these, the virtual world, the trap is just kind of a brick. You need 3 though. It's unfortunate, but you got to play the 3. They're super important. There's so many times where I go through 3 in one turn. You have to use it. The Quinlong is a starter, and so is the Nyan Nyan. They're dedicated starters though. They start your plays, and you have to have extenders with them. Otherwise, they're just garbage. See, so yeah, we're just kind of screwed. He's got what? He's got 3 negates. He ripped a card out of my hand. Oh, sorry. He only has 2 negates, but 3 with Leonite, right? Because he has Guardian in the graveyard. So yeah, I'm just kind of screwed. He ripped apart my hand. I have nothing going on in my hand. He negates my desires. I'm just hosed. If there is a way that we can play through this, or at least try to play through it better, which is with Quinlong, if we draw Kowloon, yeah, the other spell card, because the other spell card searches us Quinlong, and could put it onto the field, or it could even it could have set up Chuchi, and we would have been even in better shape. So we go into Chuchi, we activate our Quinlong, and then we banish that virtual world card to try and negate something face up. We obviously can't target Dragoon, but we could have dealt with this savage threat right there. And then he already negated with Dragoon, so we only had 1 more negate, and we're on the verge of playing through that with Lily. But we end up just having to concede. Let's move on. Game 3. We get to go first. Obviously, we're just going to try and set up our True King of all Calamities. We lead off with Desires because we actually kind of bricked. But we ended up pulling through and drawing one of our extenders. We misplayed so hard right here. We ended up starting off with Lao Lao on Lulu instead of GG. Always use your GG. Lao Lao is your last extender, essentially. You use it to summon more stuff out of your graveyard. I had nothing in my graveyard. What was I thinking? Super big misplay. But let's continue. I just have to make the most of it. We do the typical 6 into 9, draw 2, and set up VFD with Chuchi. We get nibbed. I forget to set Impermanence, another big misplay, but he can't handle all of my hand traps. I draw Judgment. Judgment is a great side deck card, especially going first, especially when I had hand traps that weren't relevant against this matchup. This is where we come through with some spice. The level 6s, this is how we break boards, is the ranked 6 XCs monsters. Exceed, whatever. The level 6 Exceed monsters, rank 6, sorry, are insane. Jinza Layered is awesome. We get to take a monster, and then because we are always setting up Chuchi, if we don't have Chuchi, we're probably losing that game, right? But if we have Chuchi and Jinzo Layered, we get a 2-for-1 them all day, every day. It's fantastic. I love it. I'm going to always play this card. Turns out you can't attack with the monster you take. Obviously, I don't read cards very well, but I tried, okay? I tried. He corrects me, and we're good. I just popped my own Quinlong, which is something awesome that you can do, because I attributed his Nibiru. I didn't want to give it back. And then I just go ahead, set up a 9. He's not going to do anything, right? He kind of needs his graveyard. I don't actually think Rock needs their graveyard anymore. But I mean, he's not getting effects off of Dragite, or his Leonite, or any of them anymore, right? Because he can't get his rocks into the graveyard. That's why Shen Shen is so busted. Shen Shen locks out so many decks, and it's fantastic. Shuts down Eldritch. I mean, shuts down Dragon Link, shuts down like so many things. It's a walking floodgate on a 28 body that just keeps coming back, which is how you just make calamities so easily. Especially if you can set up another. If you have a Chuchi in the graveyard and you bring back Shen Shen, then you can just make a Cloud Castle play, and so you bump Shen Shen's level down to 6. Then you synchro. You have to have a 3, but basically, yeah, that's what you do. So that's game 1. We'll give you 1 or 2 more, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, here we go. Game 2. we're still learning this deck, right? But I'm just sitting on crap tons of hand traps, and we're playing against Dragon Link. I know that Romulus is a huge choke point. He's not playing Ravine, which I'm just like, wow, okay. Um, we end up passing back and forth a couple turns. I'm not worried. I'm sitting on 3 hand traps. I finally open a starter for my Lili, and I just get to pop off. So let's do this slowly, because last game I feel like I really rushed through the combos. So we're Lili targeting the trap. That lets us dump a spell on a monster. So we dump Quinlong, Nian Yan. Nian Yan is awesome. Quinlong, also awesome. We have a second Lili. We're like, we don't need this. So let's banish Quinlong, dump it, and search whatever the heck we want. So, and as soon as he sees that, he scoops. We would have popped off right there. He wouldn't have been able to do anything. I don't know if I OTK, but okay, here we are. I have Nibiru. I have Ghost Ogre. I don't know how to sequence these very well. Thinking about it, I just boarded in 3 more hand traps and sided out 3 random cards. So I'm like, what am I doing, right? So I don't know what to do here. He chain blocks Romulus, so I'm like, obviously I can't rabbit that. He goes into Link Ross, does a Marcher. I'm like, I have to Nibiru here, right? Because he's going to go into Herald. I Nib, and then he tries to World Legacy Guard Dragon. I just get rid of LB. I'm like, I don't want him going into his deck. That'll enable Rocket Tracer plays, and let's not deal with that garbage. He pops off, although I'm a little confused because he ended up going into Protector Whelp, and I'm like, don't you play Heavenly Spheres? But whatever, I guess space is tight. He Buster Locks me, and I'm like, okay, I gotta bait this ish, because I got an Ogre in my hand. So I Pot of Desires, and he actually negates it. So then I just Ogre Savage, clear that garbage, set 1, and pass. He's burned through his extra deck. I have a 3k body. What is he gonna do, right? So I end up getting super lucky and just get a Chuchi Lala on him. Obviously, I would have just dumped Quinlong and then been able to search into the rest of my plays. That was a quick 2-0. I think he's probably new to Dragon Link, and I'm not playing the highest rated in Dueling Book. But yeah, that was game 2. That was a lot quicker. I didn't really showcase the combos, but the deck is so powerful. And I love the fact that you can just have 15 flex spots that can be whatever will help you win in your local metagame. Yeah, I think this deck will see a lot of success. I'm really looking forward to people innovating. I'm trying to innovate. I have a lot of ideas, and I'm going to bring you a deck profile as soon as I finish the deck. I have the main deck already, but I am missing some side deck cards, unfortunately. Or I mean some extra deck monsters. So we're waiting on those in the mail. I'm going to get that to you as soon as possible. But thanks for watching. You know the whole deal. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I hopefully am going to be uploading a lot more. I really enjoy this. I love building decks. I love playing. So, yeah, peace out. Till next time. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm done.